Hi there, Mrs. Bridges reading class. Today we're going to talk some more about some verb tenses. Remember, tense means time, and we already talked about past tense yesterday. So today we're going to move to the present tense and talk about how to make a verb be in the present tense and what that means. So, since a verb's tense shows when the action takes place, the present tense shows the action is happening right now. Present tense verbs that tell about he or she or it many times will end with just S at the end of the verb. But verbs sometimes end in a Y. And if that is the case, you have to drop the Y and add I-E-S to make it present tense. Now that may have sounded confusing to you, so let's take a look at some examples of how we do this. Making verbs in the present tense. Since a present tense verb tells something that's happening right now, if you look at my example, when it's rainy, it rains. So think in your mind, present tense is right now, it rains. The verb rain, in this case is a verb, rain ends in just an S, and it shows present tense, like right now it rains. Here are some examples of verbs in the present tense happening right now. Attends. He attends Mass every Sunday. Reads. She reads the first reading at Mass, like in the present right now. Pass. They pass the collection basket right now in the present. It falls to the ground. Right now, something falls. Pick. We pick it up. Right now, we pick it up. Walk. I walk to receive communion. Right now, I walk to receive it. Follow. You follow me in line. Right now, in the present time, you follow me in line. So we already said earlier that most present tense verbs, you would add an S to the end of the verb. When the noun and the subject is singular, just add the S to the end of the verb to make it present tense. For most verbs that end in a Y, you will drop that Y and add I-E-S. Do not just add S to the verb when the noun in the subject is plural. And do not just add S to the verb when the subject is you, is I or you. Let's take a look at this because that can sound confusing. So let's look at this chart. If you say a singular subject like she eats, or he eats, or Mario eats, she, he, and Mario are all singular subjects. So we would just be able to add plain old S to the end. Now if she will study, well, I shouldn't say will, that's a whole different, scratch that. If I say she studies, or he studies, or Mario studies, study ended in a Y, and so to make it present tense, I change the Y to an I and then add ES. So the verb that was the base verb here was study. I changed the Y to an I and then add my ES. So that's how I got studies. When you have a plural subject, they eat, they study. We eat, we study. Students eat, students study. These are plural subjects, so we do not need to add an S or change the Y to I and add ES at all to keep these verbs in the present tense, with a plural subject. They study, we study, students study. Plural subject, the verbs can be left alone to stay in the present tense. No ending added or changed. When I say I or you, it's also similar to keep the verbs in the present tense, similar to the plural subjects. I eat, I study. You eat, you study. I do not add endings to those or make any changes to that verb to keep it in the present tense. And as you can see up here, it said do not add s to the verb when the noun and the subject is plural, like here. And do not add s to the verb when the subject is I or you. And actually, boys and girls, a lot of this type of rule for the present tense verb will sound funny to your ears, and you will know sort of a sense of, that doesn't sound correct. For example, if I said I eats, I would say that's wrong. I can hear that to my ears. Or you studies, that's wrong too. It's I eat, you study, and you can hear it to the sound of your ears, which helps you to do verbs in the present. Finally, let's do an exercise together. So, Robert, his backpack, grab. So Robert is a singular subject, and how are we going to make grab present tense? Well, we're going to have to just add an S to the end of grabs. So we're going to write grabs. Robert grabs his backpack for the present tense. Number 2, Robert, to be like his older brother. The verb is try, singular subject. It's going to add an end in an S, but I have to do something first. Try ends in a Y, so I'm going to change my Y to an I in that ES. Robert tries to be like his older brother. Again, present tense verbs happening now. Number 3, the brothers to the library. My verb is walk. Brothers is a plural subject, more than one brother. So I do not have to do anything to this verb to keep it in present tense because it's a plural subject. I do not add S at the end at all. I just say the brothers walk to the library. And the last one is number 4. You Edward with his work. My verb is help. How do I make that present tense? It's happening now. You, for I and you don't have to do anything, remember? So to keep it present tense, I just keep my verb help, H-E-L-P, because for I and you, I don't usually have to change anything to the end or add anything to the end for I and you in the subject. Well, I hope that sure helps, boys and girls, with our present tense verb rules, and we will talk to you soon. Have a great day.